I think this is House Republicans' way of saying the IRS thing has simply become way too taxing, and now they're interested in holding impeachment hearings for its head. Congressman Darrell Issa from California joining us right now. Congressman, good to have you.
Thank you for covering this.
What are you doing it for?
Well, my successor, Jason Chaffetz, had already looked at a very long record on the commissioner, one in which he made false testimony before our committee. He failed to protect documents, allowed them to be destroyed under his watch, and quite candidly, he withheld both information and mischaracterized what he could have given us. So these failures to do exactly the job that he said he came in to do, which is restore confidence, is the reason that the chairman referred to our committee for impeachment. And remember, the punishment of impeachment is removing somebody from office who either is no longer qualified or who has failed to faithfully uphold the duties of that office. And for the American people who saw their rights unfairly taken away, saw themselves essentially persecuted under Lois Lerner, he has in fact failed to perform the very duty he told our committee he came to do.
Do you fear, though, that the mainstream media will cover this as sort of like you going after the head of the IRS as a political vendetta? How do you disavow Americans of that notion?
Well, I think the case was well put together by the committee when it was sent over to us. And like the impeachment of federal judges, you don't impeach them because you have some sort of vendetta. You impeach them because they are inappropriate to have on the bench. That doesn't happen very often. And remember, this is a next step in a process that began during my tenure, one in which we tried to have Lois Lerner testify before Congress. We tried to get the information that existed, and quite candidly, the Ways and Means Committee referred to the Department of Justice for criminal prosecution, and the FBI director and the Justice Department refused to perform the duty that was statutorily their requirement. So I think, although no decision has been made as to the merit of this case, for Jason Chaffetz, it's very clear his next step could not be another referral to a Justice Department that is part of a cover-up by willfully failing to execute its duties. I think there's nothing more to say than this is the logical next step in the chairman's mind.
Congressman, you have indicated that you would support Donald Trump. Many in your party have come to that same conclusion, even though they personally disavowed him during the campaign season, but they are largely rallying around him. Not all, though. What do you say to those who are holding back? What's your argument to say, support Donald Trump or we all go down?
Well, look, I'm a Republican because I believe in the direction of greater liberty, individual freedom, and smaller government. If I have a choice between Hillary Clinton, who I find to be disqualified for her corruptness, but I also find her direction to be exactly the wrong direction, the one that we've been going for almost 8 years. So I'm picking the nominee of our party, presumptive nominee, because he'll take us in the right direction, while Hillary Clinton will take us very far in the wrong direction.
So when you hear Barack Obama say, as he did at the Rutgers commencement address this past weekend, clearly referring to Mr. Trump, that, quote, ignorance is not a virtue, what did you make of that?
Well, it's inappropriate for the president to say things like that. He should be above the fray of his successor, and I'm sorry that he's decided that he wants to be immersed in the middle of the fray, once again, personal attacks. The president's time has expired. It is time for him to start packing his bags. It's time for him to start figuring out what his legacy could be if he does things in these waning months. It's not time for him to actively participate, particularly in the negative and least desirable parts of an election.
Congressman, great having you again. Thank you.
Thank you, Neil.
Darrell Issa.